Let's start. This is We Need to Talk episode 1. So let's talk. So today we are on uh, a show that people watch, people like. It's on Netflix. It's called Black Mirror.
Of your school, my name's
Now,
PC Principal. I was told you wanted to
premise of
talk to me
Black
about some
Mirror
race issues.
is
Okay,
to
come at
take
me.
technology in the not so distant future and usually apply it to some sort of scenario that they can tell a story with.
Come on, you want to learn about race, right?
Now
Give me your
today
best
I'm
shot.
playing
It's a nice day, isn't it?
South Park,
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try
and
again.
I'm trying to platinum that thing. So, if you
It's a
like
nice
the
day, isn't
gameplay, good. If you don't, well, this is what I'm playing right now. So deal with it.
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again. It's a nice day, isn't it?
So essentially, you have the new
What's wrong
episode
with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again.
that is dealing with
Nice
video
day, isn't it?
games. Now they've done video game episodes before,
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again.
and they've been
Nice day, isn't it?
middling to okay with the video game episodes. But in this particular
What's wrong
episode,
with you?
even though
You
it's
can't just
very
attack for no
well
reason.
acted,
Try again.
the actors involved are, of course,
day, isn't it?
Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon.
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason.
You
Try
have,
again.
and I can't remember the brother's name, but he
Nice day,
plays
isn't it?
Black Manta in
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again.
Aquaman. And then you have
It's a nice day, isn't it?
Nicole Bahari. A lot of people remember her from the show Sleepy Hollow.
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again.
Let's see.
It's a nice day, isn't it? What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try again.
So,
It's a nice day, isn't it?
and they're playing college friends.
Yes, very good.
And these college friends, they've been
Right,
roommates
bouncy.
together before.
I ate a hamburger last week. No! You want to be a warrior for social
And,
justice?
they live together in the same apartment. And the two guy friends, they used to play a game together. And that game is basically like a Tekken equivalent. And that Tekken equivalent is called Striking Vipers X.
Thank you, Michael Christian.
And, it's basically two friends playing the game. Like, they play the game. And
My
the
friend
scenario
Ryan
that they
looks
give
like
you
a
in the
chick.
beginning of the show
Microaggression. Hit him.
is that, it's late at night.
Not
Everybody's
bad.
got work in the
Not bad
morning
at
or
all.
school or whatever
Not
they got
only
to
is the
do.
word chick derogatory to
And
females, but also criticizing
the
a
one
male
guy,
for looking feminine is a microaggression
the
towards
one
person
that plays
transgender.
Black Manta in
Now let's see if you
Aquaman,
can spot a microaggression
he
between
decides,
yourself. My pants
hey
are
man, he
warm.
wants to play the game.
My pants
So,
are warm.
he sees
That coffee belongs to Tim Sherman.
Anthony
it's
Mackie's
going to
character getting up,
No!
and
You wanna be a
he
warrior
wants
for
to play the
social
game. So he's like, hey man, let's
justice?
play.
Identify
Anthony Mackie's like, nah
microaggressions.
man, I got work, I got this, I got that, can't do it.
Janet
So he's
likes
like,
to
man, come
roller
on, man, let's
skate.
play.
What's wrong with you? You can't just attack for no reason. Try
So
again.
he's playing the game, and
Janet likes to roller skate.
whatever.
Mr. Yamashiro is actually a very good driver. Microaggression.
And they play, and they're waking up Nicole Bahari's character, waking her up,
Nice kid.
and
very
being
nice
kind of
indeed.
inconsiderate,
Using the term actually inferred that maybe
So she
other
wakes
Asian
up telling them to
Americans are
shut
not
up,
good drivers.
and the
the use
peace
of Mr. is
offering,
offensive
so
to
that she's not
persons of
pissed
their
off.
gender. Now, before we talk about
They
your
hand
race,
us
I need
some.
you to get out there and do
It's
some
obviously
UC work
weed.
for me. I'll let you know when I think you're ready.
And it's whatever. So they fast forward a number of years. Everybody's kind of doing their thing. Nicole Bahari's character and Anthony Mackie's character are now married. And, because they're married now, they're doing married things. He's got his job, she's got her job. They have a child, and they're looking to have another child. Fine. And the character that's played by, this is going to bug me. I can't keep calling him Aquaman, brother. We got to look at his name. We can't keep calling him Aquaman, brother. Let me see real quick. So while I'm looking this up, Let's see. So they have a nice marriage for the most part. Have a nice house. Nice kid, nice yard. American dream type stuff. Let's see. And their son, or actually not their son, Anthony Mackie's character is he is basically in a rut. He's basically kind of going through the midlife thing where you can tell that he's happy with his life, but not where it is in terms of excitement. He seems to be very bored, very melancholy about things. And, you can tell that he's looking for some excitement in his life in some way, something to break up the monotony, really. And so, of course, it's his birthday, so he calls a friend, because, they haven't seen each other in a while, and it's the same friend that he used to be roommates with. And by the way, this brother's name is Yahya Abdul Mateen II. So, and he's been in various things like The Get Down and other things that we've seen him in. But he calls his friend, and his friend is like, oh man, he shows up to the birthday, and he has a gift for him. And the gift is, of course, the game that they used to play, but it's the newest version. All right, this is Striking Vipers X. So this is the newest version. It's got VR and full immersion technology within it. And up until this point, the story is going pretty well. It's pretty strong as far as the storytelling and lining out the characters and how their temperaments are and getting you to really understand them within a short amount of time. So, the episodes, it's going along. And, the birthday party is happening. And of course, you get a sense that even though the wife and Anthony Mackie's character's relationship is pretty good, it could be better. It feels like, like on some level, they're just going through the motions. So late at night after the birthday, after all the dishes are washed and everything's said and done. And by the way, they really do a great job of establishing the characters of the husband and the wife. The wife is actually a very cool person. And you get the sense of that from the beginning of the episode, basically throughout the whole episode. You really get this real sense that, she's a really understanding and reasonable person. And I'm saying that for a reason, which I'll allude to later on. But you're meeting this person, and she's very understanding. Hey, babe, if you need anything, tell me about it, and we'll work it out. Really, really cool lady. So after this is pretty much established, it's late at night, and his friend is like, hey, man, did you try the game yet? And he's like, nah, man. He's like, well, let's pop it in, let's play. So basically, almost a reenactment in a way of the scene that they had early in the game. That where you get that basic sense that that these are just two real good friends that share a interest in this particular game. That was how that's how they bonded. That's how they get along. That's how they communicate with one another, is through this game. And it's very relatable. I myself have a friend that I play games with religiously who actually lived with me. He's like a brother to me. And he had lived with me during that same age range where they lived with each other. This is right when I was first married. So it was very identifiable, very relatable in that particular way. So as you're watching the episode, you're getting a real sense of how everything is supposed to be going. And, right when I was first married, everything seems to be all good. So they pop in the thing. Oop. They pop in the game, they're playing. And, they're, oh goodness, I gotta mute this. It's starting to come through. So they're playing the game. They're liking it. Everybody's enjoying themselves. They, you immediately can tell that the immersive technology is different in the way that they're interacting with the game.
Whoa, what do we have
And
here?
so the
You're the
one
one who
friend,
made
he
the
had
news
already
last
played
night,
the
huh?
game before.
Well, the police can
So
always use
he's
the help
basically
of
showing his
concerned
friend the
citizens.
ropes.
I guess we can give our little junior
And
detective a special kitty case to work on. All right,
essentially,
listen up. There's somebody new
once
to
that
town
goes
shaking up the
down,
crime families. This is a real bad dude. A kingpin of crime who wants to
he's testing
control
out
all
the
the drugs in
controls.
the
He's
city.
seeing that it's,
We tracked him
it's
to this
first person for
location
him
here.
because
I need
obviously
you to go in
it's
and
VR.
neutralize him. You lead point, my boys will be there after. If you take
So
out the drug kingpin, we'll give you
then
this
something
junior detective
strange
badge.
happens.
Pretty neat, huh?
And this is
Now
where
get out
the
there.
episode kind of loses me. So in the midst of the fight, they're testing things out. The one friend who's playing as a girl character, he starts doing combos, throwing out different combos and how he's, able to play the game. And then they separate for a second, and then they are about to engage one another again, and all of a sudden they just start making out. Now, it was strange not because the having gay relationships in that show is pretty common. They've had them before. There's an episode, and I think either season 3 or season 4, where they really do a really good job of that, really showing I think it's a lesbian relationship in a VR setting actually. But the science and everything goes really well as far as that's concerned. But in this particular episode, there's no real build up. It kind of just happens. Ooh, Lord. And, so you're left watching the episode, and the makeout session turns, obviously sexual. And immediately, because I play games regularly, as most of the people that watch me, watch our channel and everything, watch our stuff, they play video games as well. It becomes abundantly apparent that whoever wrote this episode doesn't really play games. And the reason that I say that is because if you've ever played a game and you try to do something that you can't necessarily, that the game isn't designed to do, it stops you. There's no way to proceed with an action unless it's already written into the game. So the idea that you could go from fighting to making out and having sex and whatnot doesn't really work for a video game. But you accept it. There's a certain level of disbelief that you're supposed to have when you go into any of these fictional stories. But so, after it happens, the friends are very weirded out, obviously, because you can tell neither one of them necessarily planned for it to happen. But the writing breaks down in the idea that not only were they able to do this once, but they can keep doing it. So this game is obviously online. That's the only way they can communicate with each other. And, they're trying to hide it from their significant others. Anthony Mackie's character is trying to hide it from his wife.
Welcome to the soft room. I'm a
And
What's your name? No problem. Just let me know if you need to sit down and talk things out.
Yahya Mateen's character is trying to hide it not even trying to hide it, just trying to basically treat it like it's not really a big deal, like it's just, it's just something that happens. And, he has a girl that he's kind of interested in.
Hey, you help me out, I help you out.
And, so they're going about their lives and having this secret thing between the two of them throughout the episode. And like I say, it's as if the more they engage with the game, the more that they feel like, like being sexual with each other is just a natural progression of the game. And that, like I said, that's where the show kind of loses me, because, like I say, there was no prior build-up to the action. They didn't really have any type of romantic feelings for each other, and that's actually said throughout the episode, that they don't really have any romantic or sexual feelings toward one another in the real world. But for some reason, the game aspect of their relationship brings out the sexual nature of their relationship.
Make your first collar, then we'll talk.
So it becomes the wife, of course, she's not stupid, she's not a dumb woman. She obviously realizes that there's something wrong with her husband. He's not behaving the same as he used to behave.
That vigilante's taking all the fun out of law enforcement.
And so, she asked her husband what's going on. Now, this man, who normally seems to be very honest with his wife and they seem to have a really good relationship, then decides that, of course, that he's going to dodge the question and lie and things like that, and really demean his wife's intelligence, which he does regularly throughout the episode. And you're watching the episode, and you're expecting, I know for myself, I'm at least expecting that there's going to be some sort of climax or some sort of head to his behavior where he realizes that what he's doing can't continue. And he does. It does happen. Where he goes to his friend and he tells his friend, hey, this has to stop. And of course, the friend who's enjoying the experience feels like, no, it doesn't need to stop it. We can keep this going because I'm enjoying myself and you're enjoying yourself. But the friend doesn't seem to understand that there's a certain level of dishonesty going on. And of course, like I said, the writing is still doing this through the lens of two people playing video games. And I don't know if this was, intentional or not. I don't want to assume anybody's intention, but if you look at the episode and how it's crafted, even from the name of the game, it's very clear that they had an idea of two friends that become sexual in a way, and the video game aspect is kind of just window dressing to make that happen. And by the way, again, all the performances were fantastic. Like, you have the young lady that plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the guy that plays Sunny in Enter the Badlands, playing the various video game avatars. And it's just, they look the part of, of video game avatars you would see in like a Tekken or a Street Fighter. It's actually really well done. But I think that it misses the mark in that, again, it doesn't understand how video games work in any real meaningful way. So, there's that. Then there's the idea, and this brings me back to a previous project Anthony Mackie worked on, which is Captain America Civil War, in which there was a huge outcry among the fan community to, give Cap a boyfriend, because they felt that the friendship between Bucky, that's the Winter Soldier, and Captain America, because they were such close friends and would do anything for each other, which is, brought out many times in the movie, that they must be in love with each other romantically, and that they can't be friends. They can't be really close friends that just, love each other in a non-romantic way. And this brings that whole idea kind of back in a way that it seems awfully pandering. And what I mean by that is the name of the episode is Striking Vipers X. So Striking Vipers automatically, it evokes some phallic ideas in your mind. Then you have the idea that two guys that enjoy a particular activity together, somehow that ends up having to be sexual in some way, which is odd. But then the kicker of the whole thing, where you're really starting to see that it's just very pandering. They released the thing during Pride Month, which, like I said, I don't necessarily, in of itself, I don't care. But it just seemed almost instead of telling a real cohesive story, they went about it very lazily. And Black Mirror, normally the episodes make you think, and this didn't really make me think about anything. It just kind of made me see that, you know, that through video games somehow, because of their immersive nature or the fact that they're becoming more immersive, that you can, that eventually your relationship with a friend, which you bond over video games, is going to turn sexual. I mean, the memes by themselves are fantastic, but man, it's like I say, once everything comes to a head, everything just becomes more and more sloppy and lazy as the episode goes on. Eventually, they show the guys kind of being intimate with their significant others and not being able to perform in the real world, uh, as opposed to in the virtual world. And this actually harkens back to a lot of things that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s, when people were talking about pornography and how it desensitizes one so that he or she can't perform because of an addiction to that particular entertainment. Um, they can't perform sexually in the real world because they're consistently comparing that experience to what they're seeing on screen.
Looks like your butt can do some crazy shit.
And again,
Maybe you can use your farts to polish
it doesn't
that.
necessarily put
Have
the
fun.
the idea of gaming in a very positive light. Nor does it seem to feel that, or the people that wrote the episode seem to think that gaming is necessarily a very healthy pastime. So, you got that. So, then you have that's a problem. That's not really, that's a writing issue. But then you have the episode go on, and once a whole year of this apparently behavior passes, and it's now the guy's birthday again. So of course, the wife invites the friend, thinking that of course there's nothing wrong with that. These guys are friends. They have a good relationship, so why not invite the friend? And this is after the Anthony Mackie's character breaks off whatever relationship they have in the game. So they're very standoffish, at the dinner table, very, very, very
Oh my god, I
adversarial
have so much
because,
homework tonight.
Yahya Mateen's character now wants to
You want some of this,
continue
Forky?
the relationship that they have in game because he can't seem to find satisfaction in the real world as far as relationships. In fact, he can't even find satisfaction in playing the game with other people. Funniest part of the episode is when he talks about how there's a polar bear character, and I need to move this guy, and he can't even, he was even trying to, mess with the polar bear just so that he could, get that same vibe that he got before. So that in of itself is hilarious, but you're now seeing, oh my goodness, you're now seeing these characters doing, being more and more ridiculous as the episode goes on, even to the point where now they have to, because of the confusion that's being caused by their relationship. After the dinner is over, Anthony Mackie's character tells Yahya Mateen's character that they now have to fight. They got to fight this out. He needs to meet him so that they can figure this whole thing out. So he doesn't really propose that they fight initially.
Here,
He's just
pussy,
like,
pussy.
we have to figure this whole thing out. So, he meets him, in an alley. It's raining, and he's like, look, man, maybe we should just kiss and to see if it's real. And if it's real, then we'll figure it out from there. And if it's not real, then we'll go our separate ways. So when it comes down to it, they're really awkward about it, and they kiss and nothing happens. So then Yahya Mateen's character proposes that they keep going with the whole relationship. This is not working in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And and they end up fighting and getting caught by the police, and then they go to jail. And of course, the wife has to bail her husband out, and of course they have it out. He ends up, basically that's where the episode itself ends. But the post-credit scenes basically show that they now come to some strange understanding where the wife, she goes out in the real world, and once a year they have it marked on the calendar, Control for Guys, and the husband in turn can go and play the game with his friend, and that's the compromise that they come up with, which is just out and out ridiculous. But that's how it ends. They of course have another child, and everybody lives happily ever after with this strange arrangement. And it's just like I say, I understand what the episode is trying to do and trying to say it's trying to talk about fluidity, but it's done so clumsily and ham-fisted with this gaming aspect that for people that don't play video games, I feel like especially if you see the memes online, I feel like that's the impression that they're gonna get.
This
Like, oh, you want your homeboy want to come over and play PlayStation or play Xbox, and they about to play a fighting game. Uh-oh, Striking Vipers. So, that's really, like I say, if I had to review the episode, if I had to give it a number, I'd say I give it like a 6 out of 10, because it is so well acted. The actors are great in their roles, but the writing is it's just lazy. And it's not a very well thought out concept. And I'm going to review the rest of the episodes to this season as well, because none of them are particularly any better than the Striking Vipers episodes, but their execution is done in such a way that it could be considered better. But that's just my thoughts on it. I thought that we talk about it. So like I said, that's episode 1 of We Need to Talk, y'all. So if you agree, leave me a comment. If you disagree, leave me a comment. If you want to see this video in its edited form, it's going to be on YouTube within 24 hours. And if you want to watch it again, feel free. Like I say, agree or disagree, let's have a dialogue about it. Let's talk about it. All right, everybody. I'll see y'all next time.
Remember, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.